Here he is again. Beard from Osterholz Scharmbeck. Hello, hello. Section. Yeah, I'm drumming with my big orange hands again. That's a pretty sure sign that this isn't a mint shotgun at all. And that's why I'll just start talking about Bunny as soon as I get rid of this weird accent. Yes, this is a Diana 25. Some of you clever ones are gonna say, hey, you already had a Diana 25 in the video. No, this here is a 25, not a 25D. That's the difference, and it's from various years. Difference? So when is this one from? Well, it doesn't have an F mark, so there's a lot of evidence suggesting that it's from before 1970. And on top of that, it's the Diana 25. What are the differences? Well, the most obvious differences are that there's no scope mount on it. Logically, I couldn't shoot with a scope either. And there's no front sight tunnel. Instead, there's just a completely standard front sight on it. So the main difference, there will be more, but these are the ones that really jump out at you when you look at something. So speaking of looking, we're also going to check out Krumels here. Yeah, we'll go pretty quickly. Diana, little 25 is written up there. There. It says here, made in Germanskaya. And yes, there's no year written behind it. That was probably introduced later on. There's also no serial number here, nothing at all. So that means this thing could literally be from any time. As far as I'm concerned, it could be from the 30s or the 50s. I have no idea when it was made. It's at least 50 years old anyway, probably 1,000 more. Where do we start? With the wood. Yeah. Nice. And dark. I like dark. Interesting. With the Diana 25D and Diana 27, we have this red plastic knob at the back, which is probably meant to prevent the gun from damaging the parquet floor when you set it down. Back then, shooting ranges still had parquet floors. Or it slipped away, or I don't know. 2001. There's definitely no dot here. The rest matches the other one too. So wood and then it's ribbed. To be honest, I think the condition, despite all the many scratches, is actually pretty good. For being over 50 years old. 50 years. Yeah, 50 years, right? Minimum. I'll hold it up again. You won't see much, but, well, there are air rifles that look like this after 10 years. This thing has probably spent a lot of time in the closet. Sure, there are scratches on it, right? Obviously. But after so much time, that's normal too. How's the metal? The metal has rust spots on it already. So they seem to have been oiled from time to time, but you can see that the iron oxide has spread here and there. I don't think it's bad. But yeah, for 50 years, I don't think it's bad. If it were any less, it would be a problem. There's no scope rail. And there's a, well, site where someone used a welding machine. God knows why, but it's welded, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe something broke off, or the original got lost with WS Ika 2001, and on top of that, I don't know if that's the original site, yeah, that was welded back on, or if it was something else. One way or another, it hasn't gotten any prettier. This means that you can now adjust it sideways with a click. In terms of height, you can't adjust anything anymore. You just kind of bend it a bit. So, this would be something for someone who either thinks they can magically put a nice old rear sight back on, or who sees some way to mount a scope rail here, or who has done what I did with my Expomatic. There are these clamps for barrels. I just clamped a red dot sight onto the barrel, and that works too. There are these clamps, barrels. So I have a red dot sight, I simply clamped it onto the barrel, it works. I just wanted to mention that I've been shooting with open sights now. Speaking of good old iron sights, just a reminder, you're just a camera, otherwise I wouldn't be holding this thing in your face. Yeah. A metal brake barrel, who would have thought? It opens easily, and you can hear that something's happening. Yeah, the only thing that wobbles, as always, is the linkage rod. It's very, very easy to cock. You can hear that there's a spring working inside 2001. Now it's time for the trigger test again. I'm holding it steady as always. Long pull. Definitely. The trigger is awesome. Super dry, so right on the pressure point and with relatively little weight. It's awesome. It's just Diana. Very nice. Oh right, the seal. Just taking a quick look. It looks somehow... Yeah, so it has no flaws, great, but it's pretty flat already. So it wouldn't hurt to put a new one in there as well. Then let's get back, recycling some leftover metal here. In there, as always, this weird aiming along the side of the barrel, because at this distance, using the rear sight and front sight, I'm cutting through important things here. Yes, very nice, very nice. All good. Featherlight, the whole thing. Well, not Featherlight, but it's a rifle for the more mature boy. Back then, they still gave kids rifles to hold. That was the good old days, when the little one had to learn to shoot first to become a real man. 2001? Yeah, these days a ballet class works. Times change. So Diana, 25, no serial number, so I didn't write anything down. No purchase price, no store price. 2.4 joules of muzzle energy. Average? So around 2.4. That could be because the spring is over 50 years old. That could be because the suspected leather seal inside is 50 years old. 2001. And maybe it could use some oiling and greasing. But it could also be that back then, no one really cared about a youth air rifle like this. Although, when I look at the target like this, of course I aimed again, shooting, 10 meters. This time, however, open sights, because there's no scope mount. Huge holes. That means the herbs arrive relatively slowly. From the back, it looks like this. Yeah, and I still think it's good. You can see some are a bit higher, some are a bit lower. So that could be related to the fluctuating muzzle velocities. The direction is already very good. And I think if there's a decent spring in there, or if the thing has been properly overhauled inside, and I really don't see any reason why it shouldn't shoot well. I said that 10 meters, 10 shots, sitting supported, open sights, this time no scope. Yeah. I'm still not over it. Thanks, by the way. I know my beard is uneven. Thank you very much for pointing that out to me again. I'm still missing something, you know? Since I now have the jewel thing in there and don't have to keep looking at the tablet anymore, I'm missing something in my process here. That's terrible. It's creepy. 8 minutes. 8 minutes 50. 50 years old and an 8-minute video. 50 years old and an 8-minute video? Yeah, what can I really say about that, man? It's just a Diana 27 with an adjustable but good trigger. The bracket is made of metal. It's nicely recessed. K recessed. Not recessed. The trigger is made of metal, specifically sheet metal, so it's hollow. It shoots really well, I have to say. Yeah. Right. Then I would say that's it for now. Then I seriously consider whether I should not say goodbye at all, but just complain this time about being the man who always has to turn off his camera all by himself, and even then, have no crew, no volunteers, no NIS, nothing at hand. But I'm not that heartless. I still have to say goodbye to you all. Thank you for watching, and we'll definitely see each other again in the not-too-distant future. Unless I have something better to do, see you later.